As 2015 hunting season approached, I had a lot to be excited about. Not only did I have a Hoyt in my hand, which was a phenomenal bow that I had dialed in, ready to go. We were moved into our house, which freed up more time for me to hunt and allowed me to get out into the woods. As with any hunting season, things don't always go as planned. Throughout the first part of October, I passed on some small bucks and also passed on quite a few doe. Still hoping to get that first kill on film. So as October came to an end, you start thinking, right, you start thinking, I don't want to shoot that doe, I don't know what's behind it. So all the waiting and all the passing, it finally paid off, so to speak, near the end of October, which was Devil's Night. Went out that morning, all the forecasts said this was supposed to be the best day of the year, so I picked my spot where I've been seeing a lot of bucks on trail cam, a lot of activity, which was right around the corner from my house on the small parcel that I was allowed to hunt. After about an hour, sun up, didn't see anything when suddenly I saw a really nice buck start to cut across the field in front of me. As the buck approached, I had thought that he was going to take the same path they normally do and come right in close to shooting. And that just didn't happen. So as the buck started to make his way in front of me, I began to do a few grunts. It caught the deer's attention. He had his nose to the ground, and as it was getting close to breeding season, I think he wasn't interested in me, and he just kept his trail and kept going in front of me. So as I realized that he was starting to cut out in front of me and disappear, he was about 50 yards, and he looked to be a shooter of about a 10 point. Is what I'm guessing. Real nice buck, something that I've been waiting for all year. So here I thought patience is going to pay off. So as the buck made its way across from me 50 yards, I ranged him. I decided to try a snort wheeze. I've never tried a snort wheeze before, and I had heard from friends and other hunters that it was a pretty successful call when used in the right circumstances. Now with the heat of the rut picking up and the deer activity on the rise, I thought this might be a good territorial call to try to make towards him to see if he could break. I did the snort wheeze, stopped him in his tracks. The deer did make a move, was looking for where the call was coming from, looking for another buck, and he kind of called my bluff, so he kept on his track again. Let him go, another snort wheeze, and he started to come in on a rope, beeline right towards me. And he came to an opening. I thought he was 35. He was probably more like 40 because he cut away on an angle. I pulled back, put it where I wanted to, released, smacked, hit the animal, and the animal took off. He ran about 50 yards, stopped, turned back, looked, and then galloped away. That's not a real promising sign as a bow hunter. Just shot one. I hit him a little low. I don't know what's going to happen. And I knew I hit low, and I thought it might have been a perfect hard shot, but when you're hitting that low, it's either going to be a perfect shot or it's going to be a wound. And it was looking more and more like a wound as I sat there and contemplated.
Now the waiting game's the hardest part. I want to go down there right now and look at that arrow.
I made my way down after about an hour sit. I did find blood after about 50 yards, but it wasn't real promising. It was just droplets. So I decided to back out for the morning, go back home, regroup, come up with a game plan, let this deer get time, and do some tracking the next day. Now, that brings us to the evening hunt. So the evening hunt, I had a couple small doe come in. They worked their way in towards dusk, and I had a mature doe that I had watched a few times before that I had passed on. She made her way in, and as the evening grew to a close, she made her way in and presented with a shot. Now, me thinking into the next day and what's going to happen and trampling around searching for the buck that I had shot, the area was going to be pretty much trashed for about a week or two to give it a rest. So I'm thinking, what better time than now to capitalize on this doe that's presenting with a good shot to get that kill under my belt, a sure kill, 20-yard shot, broadside, perfect film, the whole 9 yards. Drew back, hit it right behind the shoulder. Didn't pass through because I'm thinking I buried it to the other shoulder. So it wasn't a complete pass through, but the arrow was a good hit. It took off, and on the film you can actually hear her go down, and that was a done deal. 150 yards to this point, arrow popped out, wasn't a complete pass through. The next morning, went out, I was able to recover the doe fairly quickly, and then I spent the next 2 days looking for the buck with very little blood sign, very little evidence of a good hit, and to no avail. That deer did escape, and we never recovered it. But what an exciting hunt. Just to be able to get all that on film and all of that happening in one day. Very rewarding to finally get one on tape. It gives me a new respect for the rest of the guys on the team and some of the footage they've obtained over the years, and just how hard it is. So with that done, I'm hoping now that I can move on to bigger and better things and try to get one of these big boys down on film, because that's just going to be a huge rush. Just to get the doe on film and to have that memory, it's a great thing. Check us out, BoneDriven. You can find us on Facebook. We've also got a website. Look us up on YouTube, BowHunterPlanet. There's all kinds of hits on there. Great videos, reviews, anything you need. Hunt safe, guys. Take it easy.